Snap. Real ones up. Real ones up. What's going on, party people? It's me. It's Lopez. Chris Anthony Lopez on Flick and Reel by his lonesome. Oh my God. It's a Wednesday night. It's not a typical stream I would do on the channel, but it's been a minute since I've been on it. I think it's been like 3 weeks. Something like that. Something crazy like that. But I'm here. I'm right here chatting it up. I had some free time, so I figured I'd jump on and maybe chat it up a little bit about some flicks. Apologize for the late start, but I'm here. I'm here, hanging out. I'm hoping people can hear me. I'm really hoping folks can hear me on the stream. If you already haven't, make sure you go ahead and real quick, like the video, hit subscribe for us. That'd be freaking awesome. I almost swore, but I know that Scott wouldn't like it if I said the F-bomb this early in a program. But I'm here. I'm just here. I'm hanging out, talking, chatting it up, seeing what is popping in the world of movie news. Plus, some shows are going down. Figured I'd jump on and say what's up, say hi. You know, like today was Ted Lasso and The Mandalorian dropped today. Oh my God. When did Wednesdays become the it day for shows? Was it Disney Plus? Because HBO's on Fridays, Sundays. As you can tell, I didn't watch The Last of Us, but oh my God. Either way, I'm here. Let's party. Let's chat. What do we want to chat about? That's the question. Because we've missed a few news and views. Again, apologies. I feel like it's on me at this point. And that's my bad, my fault. But what's been going down? I know today we got some news on Superman. We got a Little Mermaid trailer from the Oscars this past Sunday. Not news views. That's this program. TMNT, Mutant Mayhem. The trailer for that came out last week. There was a little sprinkling of stuff over the last few weeks, so I figured we can just jump on here and chat about it real fast. Again, thank you all for subscribing to the channel, and make sure you go ahead and leave a comment if you're watching this after the fact. It really helps us out in the post show. But let's talk some Superman, because I feel like that happened earlier today, which is still pretty nuts. I mean, the idea of this movie has been in the zeitgeist since what? When that whole thing happened? A few months ago with DC. I think it was the last day of January, because folks were so geeked and so amped for the future of DC projects. And James Gunn confirmed today that he will be directing his Superman Legacy, to really be one of the first films to kick off this new DCU. And hell yeah. I mean, we could have assumed he's writing this movie, now he's directing it, and he's been involved in the casting process for a movie that does not come out until, I believe, July of 25. So we still have some time between now and then for a Superman Legacy, for the next solo Superman venture on film. But James Gunn directing this, it's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you want James Gunn to do this movie? And he said in a string of tweets that this is real sentimental for him, because I believe one of his siblings reminded him that the day that this movie is coming out in 2025 is also the day of his father, or his birthday. I almost said his father's passing, but his father passed away a few years ago, and there was kind of this correlation to where the universe made it work to where James Gunn could direct this movie. Yes, give us this movie as soon as humanly possible. That's my big thing with Superman. I'm one of those folks who loves Man of Steel. I love it so much. I watch that thing all the damn time. It just warms my heart. And I'm not even the biggest Superman fan, not even the biggest Man of Steel fan that is frequently on this channel. That belongs to Jesse or Sean. They can fight it out for who loves Man of Steel more, to be honest with you. But Man of Steel, it's still 10 years later, holds up for me. And I love it. And the fact that that's the only solo Superman movie that we got in the post 2013 or 2010s forward is nuts. Yes. I have no idea who's popping off in the chat right now from the channel, but Man of Steel does fucks. That's rad. But Man of Steel, 100%. And the fact that James Gunn's doing this next one, he said in his little thread of tweets that he was approached to do Superman a long time ago, but he passed because he didn't feel like it was time. But now is the time. And this new DCU that they're doing where everything's connected, that things are getting canceled left and right, but shit is still within the same universe going forward, I believe, after The Flash this summer. It's going to be interesting to see. But again, Superman's your face. Superman is one of the faces. It's part of the trinity of DC, you know? And I'm assuming we'll get more Wonder Woman later. We're going to get the Brave and the Bold with our Batman, whoever that Batman will be. And we love Robert Pattinson a ton, and his Batman's still going to continue. But in regards to the DCU itself, we're going to need a new guy for that. So it's a matter of time before that actually happens. But James Gunn, Superman Legacy, makes a ton of sense to me. Questions I have off the top of my head. Are we going to get weird already? Because, you know, James Gunn, his Guardians of the Galaxy movies are kind of weird, at least compared to the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And his other solo ventures have been a little out there as well. So I'm not expecting the biggest Superman movie to start, but maybe let's get weird. Maybe a Toyman villain would be cool. Maybe we'll end up building the Brainiac. I would love to see a James Gunn directed Brainiac thing that Superman's a part of. That'd be really rad too. But again, you know, it just boils down to James Gunn, Superman, and this news is expected. Didn't surprise a bunch of folks, but I'm kind of glad we have official word on it at the same time. This is something that I've been waiting for an official announcement for. Plus, who else is going to take it? I feel like a lot of the guys beforehand that had been rumored, I think Matthew Vaughn was attached, or not attached, but I mean, he was attached to rumors at one point. J.J. Abrams' name's been thrown around a ton. But James Gunn's already doing it. He's already spearheading the creative aspect of DC Studios, and he's writing this movie. Again, makes a ton of sense. And I'm totally here for whatever is going down at DC Studios. So far, so good, at least in regards to news. Now, once these projects start coming out and then we can properly give it an evaluation, that we'll reassess when we get there. But so far, big thumbs up from all of us here at Flicking Real. I think I can speak for the channel in regards to that. But Superman Legacy, that movie's gonna rock. And the hype on social media, like, I feel like every time something DC happens, now the discourse is, oh, hey, excitement and anticipation instead of just groaning and moaning that it's another DC thing. Like, oh no, oh man. Ever since, what was it, Justice League, the first one from 2017? I think from that point forward, the fan base was just super sour. It was either you're a big Snyderverse person or you weren't. And a lot of folks, at least on my Twitter timeline, were not fans of the Snyderverse. And then you get you're real spotty after Justice League 2017. Of course, we get Zack Snyder's version, for better or for worse. We got it. And there's some other bright spots in between. I was a big Aquaman guy. I was a big Birds of Prey guy. But here we are, and the universe is done. We're resetting. Hopefully, we can build back up that trust between DC Studios and its fan base. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But again, I'm King Optimist, so maybe that's my bad with my thought process going towards all of that. Just give me what I want. I don't think it's hard. Speaking of things that I wanted from the jump for like years of my life, a very well-made Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that went to the movie theater. I'm a big fan of the 1990 live-action suit Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's one of my favorite things ever. It's a top 20 favorite movie all time for me. It's beautiful in all of its corny goodness. It's a perfect movie in my eyes because of what they set out to do and the execution. I think it's great. You have your April O'Neil, you have your Splinter, you have your Turtles, you have your Casey Jones, the Foot Clan, Shredder, you have all of it, right? And it works. It's corny, but it works. And then we got Secret of the Ooze, which I have not seen in like 15 years. And then after that, you got Turtles in Time, which I've never seen. I've gone out of my way to not watch that thing. You get your Michael Bay, Platinum Dunes, TMNTs. You get TMNT 2007, which is cool. It's fine. It's a fine animated movie. And I know Nickelodeon's done a great job with their newer TMNT series. And I think they have a movie out on Nickelodeon, or not Nickelodeon, on Netflix. But I feel like I have to watch the series. I can't bring myself to watch it without having watched the series first. But this new TMNT, Mutant Mayhem, they know what works in animation. They're taking the Spider-Verse approach. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse changed everything in regards to animation, how it should look, and frankly, what people want. In this new trailer for this movie that we've known we've been getting, that we were going to get from Seth Rogen, as they mentioned in the trailer, that like him and his little production crew, or his production team, studio, I should say, they know what vibe they're looking for in a TMNT project. And TMNT Mutant Mayhem looks like something we haven't necessarily seen before on film. Again, I haven't seen the new I don't even know what the show's called on Nickelodeon, but that Nickelodeon TMNT is not my Turtles. And frankly, this new TMNT probably won't be my Turtles either, because of my love for the original film that came out in the 90s. But this still looks super sweet. For those who haven't seen it, we have a reaction on the channel that Jesse did, and it looks very Spider-Verse-esque. They made the Turtles younger. At least they sound a lot younger. The cast is younger. Jackie Chan is Splinter, and that's awesome. We're really running through the gamut of the Turtles rogues gallery in this movie. Now, how many times will we interact with these people or with these other villains? I don't know. And I don't think we have an official Shredder in this flick, as far as I'm concerned. And the movie comes out in August, so we'll all find out the hard way. But so far, this just looks super sweet, and the "Can I Kick It" has been stuck in my head for about a week and a half now, since the trailer dropped. It looks, I love the feel of it, and I'm a big Spider-Verse guy, so anything that looks like it, that even resembles it, this is the type of movie that TMNT should have done 15 years ago. They tried it, the CG or the 3D animation. The CG animation was fine. The movie's fine. They tried live action. The Turtles are best in animation. And I know I probably just contradicted myself. I'm over here talking about the live action 90 movie. But the Turtles are best in animation. Some of the better, I know the WB Kids Ninja Turtles series that I grew up watching is fantastic. It's phenomenal. I love that series. And that was my Turtles. Those were my Turtles for a long time. And now these Turtles coming out later this summer, that'll probably kickstart TMNT for a whole new generation of people who may not have known about the Nickelodeon series, who may not have even been familiar with the Turtles, period. But this has franchise potential. The Turtles they were created with franchise potential. Since the Eastman and Laird comics in the 80s, we've known that the Turtles can expand and do bigger things. The original animated series, again, really branched everything out. The Turtles have been, in my eyes, underutilized within pop culture for a minute now. They're super weird. They influence the whole generation of animals. Not animals. Well, yeah, really animals. Like animals being humanoids doing cool shit. Street sharks being an example of that. Street sharks, for those who don't know, they're sharks. They're like the TMNT guys, but they're sharks, and they're freaking awesome. Again, the TMNT effect. It works out for everybody. So I'm over here thinking to myself, okay, TMNT Mutant Mayhem looks sweet. It's cute, frankly. Like I don't want to use that word for this movie, but it is. It looks cute. The changes that they've made the subtle changes that they've made. I know folks don't like April O'Neil's design. I love the damn thing. I think, again, this whole movie's cute. I love the animation in this, and they're making changes that to me make sense. They seem like they're making April younger too than what we're used to seeing her. She still has her yellow jumpsuit. Love that. That's great. She's black, guys. Oh my God. What? And the internet's going to love that. I saw a bunch of folks talk about the original comics run and how April was black from the jump, guys. Let's also not forget that. They made her white for the animated series, but let's not have that conversation. I feel like no one is ever prepared for that conversation. But come on, y'all. We got to do better than that. TMNT, on the other hand, I love the dynamic between the boys in the trailer. They look super sweet. Oh, man. I'm going to be giddy to watch this movie, especially in a summer where we're getting a Spider-Verse movie. I believe it comes out in June. We're getting one. And then we're getting TMNT a couple months later. Similar style, but is that a bad thing? I don't think that's a bad thing. I will be down for more Spider-Verse-esque things until A, they're bad, or B, they just crowd the animation market because it takes away from the individuality that Spider-Verse has. I know it's already getting copied, but I'd be cool with a couple of these. Now we get a ton of these, we'll have that conversation again, and then I'll switch up very, very quick. I love the trailer. TMNT rocks. It's one of my favorite things on the planet. Great IP that, again, Nickelodeon's been just like keeping to themselves, and Paramount's been keeping to themselves for a minute. And I know, again, people aren't a fan of the live action ones. I think they're fine. At least the Platinum Dunes ones. I think those are fine. They tried to do something different. I'm glad they made the changes that they did. Out of the Shadows is a way more fun movie than the original, the 2014 original. Out of the Shadows is great. They made Casey Jones a cop, or at least they made him a police officer who was wanting to be a police officer almost the entire movie until the end. It was weird. And it was Stephen Amell as the Green Arrow. And like, it was just like, what? Come on. I don't know. Did that movie sink Stephen Amell's movie like star career or aspirations, I should say? I know he did Code 8. I think that's what it's called. It's on Netflix with Robbie Amell. But did Out of the Shadows, did he get dunked down so hard that he's like, hey, movies just aren't my thing. Let me stick to shows about archers and pro wrestlers. Is that what happened to him? That's a conversation we can have a different day. TMNT looks great. Big fan. Huge fan of it. Before I jump over to these shows that have been coming out the last few weeks, quickly, I want to talk about The Little Mermaid. There's a very rad reaction on the channel. Again, Sean and his daughter talk about The Little Mermaid, and I loved it. I mean, love the trailer, love the reaction. Go ahead and check that out if you already have not seen it. Excuse me, but Little Mermaid. I have a love-hate relationship with these Disney live-action movies. I really like a good amount of them. I was actually talking about them a few days ago. Like Beauty and the Beast, I think is a goodie. Aladdin, I think is a goodie. OG Cinderella, it was one of the first ones, and I think people forget that movie even happened, which is weird because it's Cinderella, but okay. There have been some duds. I know Pete's Dragon was a dud. Jungle Book was another good one. That was a really good one. What was the last one? Oh my God. Oh, Mulan? Was that the last one? The one that no one saw? Oh God. I don't even think I've seen it. Because I found out they took the songs out. And I said, no, hard pass. Because if you're going to do these remakes, do them, because folks want the animation stuff, the animated stuff in live action. That's exactly what they want. So give it to them. I don't think that's a hard ask for folks. And they did Mulan. No one liked it. And now here we are talking about The Little Mermaid. There are reasons to not be eager to see this, you know. At least in my eyes, I think this movie's gonna rock. Fingers crossed. But Disney's given us reason to be a little weary about this flick. Plus, movie comes out in 2 months, and we just got a good trailer for what's going on this past Sunday at the Oscars. That's okay, cool. Even though they pump out their Marvel stuff almost a year in advance, and you're gonna give us a full trailer to Little Mermaid 2 months in advance. That makes me scared for the promo between now and the release of the movie. But the actual trailer itself, Halle Bailey looks great. I don't like how dark the beginning was, like literally dark. I couldn't see shit. Like, I mean, many other people have complained about that, the feel and look of movies now that we're just turning the saturation down. Oh God, Ursula. I'm very intrigued by Melissa McCarthy as Ursula, and I don't know if that intrigue is a good thing or not. Javier Bardem, yes. I'm excited to see the on land stuff. I already saw that they created a song for the movie that was not in the original animation flick from the 80s that is going to almost serve as a montage of sorts for Ariel being on land and her experiencing new things for the first time. That was redundant. Experiencing things for the first time. I'm excited. You know, you get Alan Menken, you get Lin-Manuel Miranda, who I think gets dunked on for absolutely no reason. Is he a little corny sometimes? Yes. Has his I know folks folks blamed him for a lot of the trends that we have going on in musicals, or the folks that he's shot into the spotlight because of his work. It's not his fault, y'all. Let's also be real on that for a second. But he's writing the music. Plus, the last musical he did, what did he do? Mary Poppins? Well, if we're counting Tick Tick Boom, because that movie, don't even get me started on Tick Tick Boom. I'll be here all night talking about it. But Mary Poppins, again, that movie was overhated, or what's the word? Folks dunked on it too much, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the dunking on. I liked the movie a lot. And I thought I thought he was fine. He had to follow in Dick Van Dyke's steps. No one was going to do that and succeed. Like, let's be real. And Emily Blunt, I think she deserves way more recognition for her interpretation of Mary Poppins. But again, I'm not here to talk about Mary Poppins. Little Mermaid. The trailer's good. Halle Bailey's going to crush it. She's going to absolutely crush it. She's not my concern. My concern are the changes that they'll make between the live action or the animation to live action. Because they've made some tweaks. They've added things. I think Beauty and the Beast was essentially shot for shot the same movie, with the exception of them giving the Beast Evermore, the song Evermore, instead of If I Can't Love Her. From the Broadway production. I'm trying to think on any other ones. I might be wrong on Beauty and the Beast. But in regards to Little Mermaid, my only concern is what they'll add or what they'll take away for the sake of it translating from animation to live action. Because that already is a little weird. Disney's been weird about it. But I mean, we won't see it until the movie comes out, or whenever folks get to see it early. Whoever gets the press screenings, or whenever they screen it for the first time, they'll be able to tell us how it translated from the original into this live action remake that we're getting almost 40 years after the original. Has it been almost 40 years since Little Mermaid? That's crazy. Damn, it's crazy to say out loud. But I'm acting like I was alive. I wasn't. Oh man, Little Mermaid. I'm trying to think of the other. Oh no, they did Pinocchio. That was the other one. Pinocchio. More like Pinocchio. Oh no. Oh no. No one liked that either. So they've been on some duds. They did the trailer for Peter Pan. That looked cool. But again, look a little dark. Can we turn the light up, please? And oh man. Oh yeah, there's a little link there. Yara Shahidi of Blackish and Grownish fame And that's where I saw Halle Bailey act for the first time, was in Grownish. Huh. Who would have thunk it? But these live action Disney movies, I wonder how we're going to do them now, because I feel like the real good ones happened in the mid to late 2010s, like the Jungle Books, the Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, shit like that. Like, I love those. I think those are great, as I already stated. But these new ones that we're getting, the ones that were shot around, during, or after the pandemic, we'll see how that goes. But I'm hopeful for Little Mermaid. I'm really hopeful. Looks cute. I know folks who love the original. Love it, love it, love it. Do I necessarily love the original? No. But out of the Disney Renaissance movies, it's not bad. I make it sound like I don't like it. It's not bad at all. It's actually very good. But again, I prefer other ones from that era that have already been translated into live action. So maybe I'm a little bit biased. Little Mermaid, though, very much looking forward to it. Very much. Okay. Now, before we continue, we can talk about Mandalorian now. I don't want to spoil stuff, though. Plus, I haven't seen episode 3 yet. So, Mando, I don't want to get too crazy on it because I don't want to spoil it for folks who haven't seen it. I know it took me a while to watch both the first 2 episodes. And I know episode 3, I believe, came out today. I haven't seen it yet. I heard it's all right. I heard it's pretty good. But as someone here, I feel like I'm the only person on Flick and Reel who does not watch like the TV shows week to week. I missed out on Andor. I missed out on Sandman, which I still get a lot of flack for. I missed out on The Last of Us for now. Surprisingly, spoiler alert, surprisingly, knock on wood, no one spoiled anything for me in regards to Andor or The Last of Us, which is appreciated in advance. But The Mandalorian has been my favorite thing Disney's done with Star Wars, period. And I'm a sequel trilogy apologist, with the exception of Rise of Skywalker. That movie sucks. But The Last Jedi, Force Awakens, I love those. I love both of those for different reasons. And yeah, Force Awakens is the same movie as A New Hope. Yeah, they just did it better. Sorry. In my eyes, at least. But The Mandalorian, again, we get time with Din Djarin. We got time with Grogu, and I fell in love with these characters over the course of the series and the Book of Boba Fett, where they essentially took over the back half of the show and saved it. And saved Book of Boba Fett, because that show was mid until Din Djarin showed up. But season 3 kind of just like showed up, didn't it? I just got lost in the sauce with everything. And maybe it's a me thing, maybe it's a Chris thing, where I just got lost. It's already mid-March. Like, this year's going by very quick. And Mando just happened. I watched the first episode last week, and it was fine. The first episode's fine. The issue with this show is that you have to watch Book of Boba Fett to understand how Din and Grogu are back together, because they had that pivotal piece of Mando lore, no pun intended, within the Book of Boba Fett in an episode that Boba Fett wasn't even in. Whatever. But you almost have to watch. No, you do have to watch at least those episodes to fully comprehend where our characters are at now, where our heroes are at now, into a pretty filler first episode. This episode felt like a bridge episode in the middle of a season that easily could have been done. This episode could have been done in, the middle of the season. And that's just what it felt like to me. But you got to show grief. You got to explain why Cara Dune, is that her name? Cara Dune's not there anymore, because you got to write out Gina Carano. So that helped bridge the gap. You still got some cool Mando stuff, but it just felt pretty there to me. The second episode, on the other hand, absolutely rules. It absolutely rules. I loved the Bo-Katan of it all. I love the not the jump scare, but there's something that happened towards the end, or at the very end of the second episode, that absolutely had me jump out of my bed. I was laying down in my bed watching Mandalorian, and then I saw what I saw, and I jumped out. I screamed. It was like 11 o'clock at night. Roommates are sleeping, or at least trying to sleep, and then me watching The Mandalorian. Oh, damn, I love that show. Mando's very good. It's very good. And they have little filler, very little filler, but I am so enamored with these characters. And as someone who has not seen Rebels, who has not seen Clone Wars, who has not seen the whole animation aspect of Star Wars, I came into this thing and now I'm in love with Bo-Katan. I love her. And do I have an audience with me in the back? Do I see you? Are you just there? You can come in if you want. Yeah.
What's
come
up,
in, Allison Salamone?
Hello.
Real
one.
one.
Real one. Real one.
What's poppin'?
Not
Hello.
Hello, friend. I thought I'd just pop in here and crash your stream after I just finished a Reels like the first time recording with the fun episode coming up.
Dog, I hope you know that before I came onto this thing and I was sending out the tweets so we can share it, and I mentioned Reels like the first time, and for a good 5 minutes in my head I was like, Reels like the first time. And I'm a little bittersweet that you've never seen it is gone, but Reels like the first time, it grew on me, and it grew on me quickly.
It's good. It's a good one. I just want to pop in, see what we were talking about. We're talking about Mandalorian. Great fucking episode today.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. That's literally what I'm gonna do when I get done with this. But so far so good. Yeah,
I'm enjoying it. I mean, I have no qualms about it. I mean, people are gonna have there's always gonna be people who dislike things, and that just is what it is. Right. Especially in Star Wars. How dare people actually like something or dislike it? I'm enjoying it. I thought this episode was fantastic. Without getting into spoilers, I've been really enjoying it. But we also wake up at 3 a.m. to watch them. So
yeah, I mean, and plus you just wake up early in the morning for fun, and for health.
Then so I can eat all the pizza
while you're watching Mando
at 3 a.m.
Yes,
yeah, exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. For sure. So what else is going on? What are we chatting about? What are we?
We can did you watch Ted Lasso?
I did not watch Ted Lasso yet, so I might have to dip out for.
It's all right. Yo, I'll end with Ted Lasso. But Allison, are you a big Little Mermaid person?
I love The Little Mermaid.
Did you watch the trailer from the Oscars?
Of course I did. When Halle Bailey, when she went up on the rock and did the I'm not gonna sing it because I don't got the pipes like her. When she went up on the rock and did her thing, literal tears. It also didn't help that Ke Huy Quan had just won Best Supporting Actor, so I was already in tears. So like they were already brewing and bubbling over. So like it just hit that much harder because "A Part of Your World" is such a beautiful song.
It's definitely one of the better tracks from probably from Disney's entire catalog.
Yeah,
which is high praise. Very high. That was an Alan Menken joint, ain't it?
Yes,
I want to say so.
I agree. Sure.
I mean, Halle Bailey's gonna crush it. She's not my concern with this movie.
No. Well, I like how the conversation from the first, teaser trailer of "Not My Ariel" because she is not white has now gone into "Not My Ariel" because her hair isn't red enough. We've moved away from the racist to going straight to like now we're picking on hair. Like, get the fuck over it.
So now we want Ginger. Like,
right.
Ginger's have been getting dunked on for centuries. And now we want one now, and it's just because it's Ariel, just because her hair curls a little differently. Who gives a shit?
Right.
Like,
Right.
and that's my whole thing from the beginning. With the second they casted Halle Bailey, I'm like, oh my god, here we go. Like,
Yeah.
it's a black woman who's gonna be Ariel. Oh shit! And then we
Yeah.
saw the little teaser, and we just heard her sing. It's like, okay, like, can everyone just please shut up now? And then we watched the
Right.
trailer. It's like, now everyone, can you please shut the fuck up?
Yeah. And like,
Like,
let's
everyone.
also think Melissa McCarthy's Ursula looks
Yeah.
fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think yeah.
I'm eager to see how she, you know, I want to see Ursula in her full, like,
The full Ursula look.
Yeah. Because I was
sure.
talking about this, funny enough, with my stepdad. My stepdad, one of his favorite movies is The Little Mermaid. And he's like, Ursula's my favorite Disney villain. And I said, huh. Like, not only was I surprised, but I'm like, I want to know how they'll do Ursula. And if they, you know, because Ursula is genuinely, like, probably a little bit scary.
Yeah.
From the OG. And then can I look at Ursula and not see Melissa McCarthy?
Right.
That's my concern.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to get to, is that it's Melissa McCarthy. Am I going to see Melissa, or am I
going to see Ursula? Which is a super good point, because that was the ending of The Little Mermaid, like the original version, the cartoon version of it, terrified me as a child. Like, with how big Ursula gets and like with everything that's going on. I remember being like frightened, like horrified and terrified watching it. So I completely agree. It's going to be interesting to see how she ends up looking, how they end up doing it, because they take small liberties with these live action remakes that they keep doing. So it'll be very interesting to see like where they go with it.
And I mentioned that a little bit ago, that these remakes, they sometimes add some things for the better or for worse, or they take things out for better or for worse. Like, I mentioned Aladdin, because for Aladdin, they gave Jasmine a whole arc that she did not have in the original. And I think it worked for the better. I really liked it. But like movies like Beauty and the Beast, where they barely changed anything, they just made things bigger, you know? Like,
and they did, like, they added in the Black Plague storyline, where she gets to go back and see how her mother died, which I don't really think you need in a Beauty and the Beast story. I don't think you needed what's his face's Danny Smith, whatever the fuck his name. I forgot his name. You don't. He doesn't need the song. Like, he doesn't need that extra song that if you're going to throw a new song, if you're going to throw a new song for the Beast to sing in, throw in "If I Can't Love Her" from the Broadway show. Like, that's the one you should be doing, not just some brand new something or whatever. Like, I would have been more impressed.
Evermore is a banger, though. Evermore, I love it. I love that song. I do.
Dan Stevens, that's his name. Like Dan Smith,
Stevens.
Dan Shaw, Dan Stevens.
Dan Stevens.
Right.
Yes. But I mentioned that, like, you know, you add Evermore, and I dig it. It's like, it's cool. And yes, everyone's voices are auto-tuned or warped to shit, with the exception of Luke Evans, because that man can sing. But and our boy, Josh Gad, he's also a very good singer. But yeah, why not add "If I Can't Love Her"? Because Lion King, which to me, one that is a miss for Disney, even though it made $1 billion. They added songs from the Broadway production.
Right.
So are we, and I mentioned that Little Mermaid, they're going to add songs to it. They brought Lin-Manuel Miranda in to write new music for it. So, okay, great. How is this going to work compared to the OG? And it's been a minute since I've watched the OG, so I got to watch it. Definitely before this movie comes out. But 2 months. That's all. They gave us a trailer in 2 months.
Ooh.
So we don't have to wait long for this thing. I believe it's May 26th, 25th, something like that.
Yeah.
So like, it's quick.
Yeah.
It's like, where the hell's the promotion for this movie been?
Disney doesn't give a shit, because I mean, it's the same thing could be said for, like, people are saying the same thing for like Strange World. People are saying the same thing for.
Well, the Strange World promotion was non-existent.
It depends on who you ask, though. Like, for people like me, or like, I was at the theaters pretty much every single week leading up to it coming out. So I was seeing the trailer every fucking day.
Right.
Almost, or like once a week. So Disney just does. I don't know. They do things weird. They're Disney. The people who are going to go see a Disney movie are going to go see a Disney movie, and the people who are going to wait for it to come out on Disney Plus are going to watch it on Disney Plus. Regardless, Disney is not caring about putting people in theaters the way that like Tom Cruise felt with Top Gun, and like we're not putting this out until people are back in theaters. Disney doesn't give a shit. People know it's out there. They know, especially when they know there's controversy behind something. When there's controversy behind it, I feel like they just kind of like to wipe their hands clean and be like, we're just going to do what we're going to do. Here's the trailer. And now this is the one that you're going to see when you go to theaters.
And I wonder if they took the because I mean, all press or bad press is good press at the same time. So maybe them banking on the trolls to essentially promote the movie for them at the same time. Because that was the whole discourse. And I talked about TMNT Mutant Mayhem a little bit ago, and how that conversation came back up again. Like, oh my God, that's not my April O'Neil because she's a black girl now. Like, it's like, yo, it's like, she looks cute. Leave her alone.
Heaven forbid, not everyone is white. Like,
right? Ain't
it? like, heaven forbid that we just, change things up a little bit. Let other people feel seen and recognized. Because guess what, white people, we get seen. I see me. Everyone sees white people. It's fine. It's okay.
And half the Ninja Turtles are black now. 2 of the kids that are voicing the Ninja Turtles are voiced by black boys.
I love that.
So like that's okay. So I think it's Mikey and Donnie. Okay, great. Even though Raps in my head's always been black, but still like that whole thing, the whole idea of like race bending characters or changing established things, as long as April O'Neil is there with the turtles, she has her little yellow jumpsuit on, frankly I don't give a shit.
Also, it's a fucking character. It's not a real life human being. Person. It's not a thing. It's not. Yeah, no. It's people are dumb.
And going back to make this about Little Mermaid again, like the whole the second Halle Bailey got casted, okay, like you knew some shit was gonna happen. We saw her, and it's like, oh my God, her hair's not red enough. Like, dog.
Those are all the same people that are saying they shouldn't have closed Splash Mountain.
Yeah. It's like Song of the South is misunderstood.
No,
excuse me.
It's really not.
It's like,
no misunderstanding.
Like, that movie is problematic when Disney
won't even put it on Disney Spring on Disney Plus.
Well, not even that. Like where they like buried it. You cannot go out and buy a copy. A legal copy of Song of the South.
Nope.
Because Disney, who for a long time they funded their animated pictures off propaganda that was not okay.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are in the year of our Lord, 2023, and we're still out here doing our bullshit. But at the end of the day, it's not coming out of the
vault anytime soon.
Exactly. At the end of the day, the little Ariel's black now. Sorry, y'all. If folks don't like it, they can go back and watch the original. It's still there. It's not going away.
But the best part is people are still going to go watch it because hate watching it is still giving them money. And that's what Disney doesn't care about. It's just like there's people who there's a person who specifically hate watches my show, but you know what? It's still a view. So thank you.
Yeah, still a view, still a share. gives you more promo. And every time, like, you drop a new episode of Reels like the first time, and you see it's like, damn, I already got a viewer.
Yeah, it's right there.
It's like you already know. You already know.
I love this. Correct, Sean. Strange World, more like Strange Pollution Plan. Am I right?
Dog, and I went to the movies a ton late last year, and I saw the trailer a ton. I still have not seen Strange World, and it's on Disney Plus now. Because Disney did not give me a reason besides forcing me to sit through the trailer at the movie theater. They didn't give me a reason to go want to see it.
Do you think when you go to the movies and when you go like as frequently as like you do or like I do, and you see the same trailer over and over and over again, do you think it has an adverse effect on whether or not you're going to go see that movie?
Oh, that's a good question. It probably doesn't happen all the time, but it for sure happens. Like, folks get turned off watching the same trailer all the time at the movie to where, like, I bet you've heard it. I bet you've said it. I know I've said it and I've heard it. that folks bitch about watching the same trailer at the movie theater every single week that they go. And it's not necessarily the movie theater's fault or the studio's fault, because us weirdos that go to the movie theater every week,
once a week, like 2 or 3 times in a weekend,
they don't anticipate us, going all
Right.
the time. And they're trying to get new eyes. And I guarantee every time you're like, oh, damn, I got to watch the stupid Peter Pan trailer again. There's someone in your auditorium who had not seen it before. And it's probably like, oh, yeah, I'll check that out.
I remember towards the end of last year when they finally released a new Babylon trailer. And I was sitting in the theater and I was like, oh, I'm going to get fucking Babylon again. And it didn't come up with the snorting cocaine sound. It's something else came. And I was like, oh, it's a new one. Oh, this is fun. This is great.
You know how you have no idea how validating that is to get giddy at seeing a new version of a trailer for a movie at the movie theater. I did that. What did I do that for? Oh my God. Oh no. When I went to go see Ant-Man and I was sitting there, I went after work and I was just there by my lonesome, my mask on at the movie theater. And when the Flash trailer came on, me had already seen it 50 times because, Flash and Michael Keaton. Folks in my theater were like, ooh,
yeah.
And I'm over here just shaking in my seat. But I already know when I go back, and hopefully in April or something, we get a new trailer. And all right, great. So I'm not seeing the same shit all the damn time, even though that shit is pretty damn cool, if you ask me.
Speaking of DC, did you already talk about James Gunn's announcement?
I did, but please, I would love your 2 cents.
No, I'm excited about it. I'm not one of these Snyderverse, I don't care. I just want DC to finally do some justice to these characters. Yeah. To these characters that deserve better. Did Henry Cavill deserve better as Superman? 100%. I think that man was chiseled by the gods. Specifically, I don't think he was birthed as a baby. I think he literally was dropped down by the gods full grown.
He's Clark Kent.
Just to play 100%. I don't think there was nothing throughout his parents did. He was not raised. He just showed up one day and it's there's our Superman, because he really is. And I blame The Rock for fucking everything up with Black Adam for part of it. But I also understand. I understand that, when anytime something comes into new management, there's gonna be changes. Right. And it's okay. And James Gunn has said multiple times, I can do both. You can be a fan of Marvel products and a fan of DC products and do both really, really well. And I feel like James Gunn, even Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 isn't the best MCU movie.
Ooh, you can't say that. That's a naughty phrase. You can't say that.
But it's good. I don't really dislike any Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. I really don't.
Same.
But there's some that are better than others, and there's some that are, and that one is one that has quite a few that are better than it.
Yes.
But James Gunn I've not ever seen him put out at least in recent memory of what I've watched, a bad product. And everything he does incredibly well, and it's going to be amazing. I think he's going to do justice to a story he cares about, a source material he cares about, to rebuild something. And it's DC doing something right and bringing in a person who is not only good at their crafts, but is knowledgeable about the material prior to doing it. And
right.
Marvel has been doing that for years and years and years, and that's how you get the MCU. DC has not been doing that. DC has been relying on one person, wanting to make the movies that they want to make. And I think now we have the opportunity to finally get it right, in my mind.
And I mean, and that's been the vibe, there's direction, there's stability within the studio. There is now someone who is taking the creative control, and they laid out their plan and they told us exactly what they're doing. And it's not this, oh, we're gonna do Batman and then the Superman, and then we're getting weird too, and everything's interconnected. Everything. We'll figure out that's a good thing or not in a few years. But
I think that's smart too. He's not telling these other people, don't make your projects. Like the Batman was fantastic. It was 3 hours, but it was fantastic.
Yes, it was.
We'll see how the Joker is. You put Lady Gaga on something, I'm gonna go see it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
gonna happen.
yeah.
So I mean, we'll see. I think that what they're trying to build and what they're trying to do is it's hard to see the forest through the trees of shit that we've been given. With a few like things, sprinkled on top. But I don't know. I'm excited. I'm still debating on if I'm gonna go see Shazam or not yet.
Is it bad that I thought the movie came out next month and not this weekend?
not in 2 days.
I was convinced that Shazam came out in April. Because I plan on seeing it. I do plan on seeing it. It's not that I don't like the marketing, even though I got something spoiled for me earlier this afternoon.
Oh no, fucking assholes.
I got something spoiled for me for this movie and The Flash.
That sucks.
Yep. But I'm not going to disclose it because people should not be assholes about these damn movies.
Agreed.
But Shazam, yes. But I'm also a little bit hesitant because I don't want to get too attached to these characters because they may not matter in months. Yeah. And it's a bummer. And I know Zachary Levi he got in some deep shit on the socials recently, but he's still Chuck, so I don't know how mad at him I can be.
True.
But yeah.
True.
When the OG came out in April, I think it's like the original.
No, I thought it came out in like February.
No, you're right, because it was a Christmas movie. Or it was around Christmas. It was a winter movie.
But it didn't come out in Christmas. It came out in like February, I want to say.
Yes. What am I thinking? Why is it? Maybe I'm just too caught up. Maybe I'm looking forward to D&D maybe next weekend.
Good reviews coming out on that one.
Which makes me I'm over the moon.
Chris Pine is so fucking charming in everything he does.
I thought you were gonna say Chris Pine is so fucking fine, which interchangeable. Yes.
Both. Charming, fine, whatever term you want to use, I'll agree to it. Because it's true.
Yeah.
Whatever positive affirmation.
I watched him do one of those Wired interviews yesterday, and he's just the fucking man.
He's so good.
He's the man, and I want him to do more Star Trek. I want more Star Trek.
I didn't mind. I truly did not mind the Kelvin trilogy, but I guess I'm on my own here.
I'm right there with you.
Oh, perfect, great. So someone can be in the comments now instead of saying the girl doesn't know what she's talking about. The girl and the black dude. They don't know what they're talking about. Right.
Black people don't watch Star Trek.
No.
What's you know about Star Trek?
What do you mean? Idris Elba was in it.
Yeah.
That's exactly I'm just kidding. I should have said I'm getting canceled. It's
all right. I co-signed it.
Okay,
but the Kelvin trilogy is I mean Into Darkness was fine, but I love Star Trek 09 and Star Trek Beyond. I think those movies are absolutely killer. But I'm a big fan of Chris Pine, especially the last few years of his work, and I am eager to see D&D. Plus, it's going to be one of Michelle Rodriguez's 2 big blockbusters in the next couple months.
For sure. Well, Chris, I'm going to let you go because you've been going for, a little bit now. That way you can get into your Ted Lasso. I'm going to head on out of here. So,
Allison, thank you so much. Reels like the first time. What's on the show this upcoming Thursday?
So right now, what we have out, it's on Tuesdays, but cool.
Tuesdays.
What we have, the episode we have out right now.
Tomorrow's Thursday.
Yeah.
I have a thing tomorrow, so I'm excited about tomorrow. But I'll tell you about that later.
Comes out Tuesdays. Right now we have the most recent episode is the first one under the new name. It is I watched Money Plane and talked about with none other than the expert on Money Plane, Lon Harris. And next week, I'm just gonna announce it here right now. We are dropping the next episode of Reels Like the First Time a day early. That's right. On Monday, you will get to watch my conversation with the one and only Hal Rudnick. What?
That's awesome.
What?
That's so rad.
Look, he followed me on Twitter, and I never reached out or said anything because I didn't want him to think he made a mistake for a while. But then he came on my show. So.
Hal Rudnick. When you first told me, this was a few weeks ago, I think, when you told me, and I said, "Oh my God." 2015 Chris is freaking the fuck out. Like, you talking about the guy from the Screen Junkie show?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
He's great.
Hella jelly, and I'm eager to listen to it.
So yeah. So Yeah, so we are doing that so that'll actually be dropping on Monday. And the reason we're dropping the episode early is because Tuesday is March 21st. And for those of you who know me, March 21st is a very important day. It is World Down Syndrome Day. The reason we call it World Down Syndrome Day is because Down syndrome is the genetic disability that is caused by the triplicate of the 21st chromosome. So March 21st, 321. I have a brother with Down syndrome. I do a lot of work within the Down syndrome community. So I'm going to be on Twitter all day long when I'm not in sessions. And what I need from all of you guys, the way that we celebrate World Down Syndrome Day is we wear fun socks. Last year, you all came out in droves for this by tagging me at Allison Salamoni on Twitter in your pictures and using the hashtag World Down Syndrome Day or something similar. And this year, for every person who posts a photo in their fun socks on 321 and tags me and uses the hashtag, $1 will be donated up to $200 to an organization that is near and dear to my heart called the Improveneer Method. And what that is my buddy Rob and his beautiful family started, they have a young son with Down syndrome as well. Two great kids. Their oldest son is getting ready to go to film school. He's super fucking cool. Charlie, he's great. And then their youngest, Henry, who has Down syndrome, is a total doll. But they started this whole organization that is literally teaching improvisational skills to people with Down syndrome. We're looking to expand into other diagnoses, and it helps teach skills like eye contact, self-confidence, quick thinking, problem-solving skills, things that are going to be necessary to be successful and able to live your most free, like least restrictive type of life possible. So $1 for every post that happens, up to $200 going straight to the Improveneer Method. So be sure to keep your eyes peeled on Twitter on 321 for that.
And Allison Salamoni, your Twitter is in the description of this video.
Yes.
So go ahead, for any folks watching now or after the fact, Allison is in the Twitter description right down there.
Go follow me at Allison Salamoni.
And next Tuesday, on the 21st of March, Allison's going to be on Twitter all day when she's not in sessions. And you already know damn well I'm going to do it. Your boy's going to do it. But hopefully many other people in droves will go out and support this wonderful cause. Allison, I love you so much. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Have fun with Ted Lasso.
All right, bye. Soon. Boom. Allison Salamoni. Love her so much. Absolutely rocks. So before I bounce, what's going on? Derpy Entertainment in the chat. Hello. I want to die as a DC fan knowing there's fans that want the Snyder crap and literally praising to save it with the announcement today. See, the thing, one last thing about DC before I talk about Ted Lasso. Folks, you know, if you were to tell me that the MCU is going away and it's going to be replaced with a different Marvel universe, I know I'd feel shitty too about it, but also I wouldn't ask for people to get fired, to lose their jobs, any crazy shit to happen. It takes a different kind of person to still be out here like, restore the Snyderverse, because it's dead, guys. And frankly, the idea of selling it to Netflix, that discourse pisses me off. Like the whole restore the Snyderverse, whatever, go cry into a corner. But selling it to Netflix, don't be stupid. Don't be dumb. It's done after, I guess, The Flash, but still, it's whatever. Now, Ted Lasso, I put in the thingy no crazy spoilers. So hopefully that's not too vague. But Ted Lasso, I'm one of the lucky few who got to watch it last night. Granted, it came out last night. They said it was going to be today. Came out last night for folks in the States. And I watched it. I re-upped my Apple TV Plus. Very much looking forward to watching Shrinking. But Ted Lasso, one of my favorite shows of the past few years, is back. And they did not skip a beat with this first episode of season 3. Which, from what it sounded like, it's the last season of the show. And Smells Like Mean Spirit is an episode that does not waste its time in telling us what the main conflict or what the themes of the season will be. it's essentially looking for your place, right? That's the like what do you call home and what are you looking for in a home? That's what I got from watching the premiere episode of season 3 of Ted Lasso. And I am over here I am over here with the lost my train of thought. Sean, what's up in the chat? Chris, we need an update. The real ones need to know. What show is on the docket? Are we doing Sandman? Are we catching up? I saw Sean's comment. Totally threw me off. What am I watching? Mandalorian and Ted Lasso as of this moment. There are plans for Sandman. There are plans for Sandman. I promise. We're going to do Sandman. Jesse and I are just figuring out the logistics of doing it. Am I going to stream the whole thing in a day? Am I streaming halves in a day? What day am I going to do it on? If folks want to do it with me, but we're figuring it out. Sandman will probably happen before The Last of Us. That's what it's looking like. And well, maybe Andor might happen before both of those. I don't know. But Sandman's happening soon, and maybe if I have fun with Sandman, I'll do the same thing for The Last of Us, even though I don't think I'm mentally prepared for it. Ted Lasso, a show I'm also not mentally prepared for. What I've got from the show so far in episode 1, season 3, smells like Mean Spirit, like Nirvana. We're looking for what home is, and we're looking for a sense of placement within our area. We're seeing that with Ted and with Nate. As for the folks of the show, or fans of the show, I should say, we saw Nate leave with the new West Ham manager job, and he's with Rupert, Rebecca's ex-husband, and he's poised to be the villain with the white hair, the gray hair, and he's looking to be all smug, but we see his insecurities already, wasting no time in the insecurities of the character. And Sean in the chat, no one cares about Andor. Star Wars is old news. Man, Mando's my jam. But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna watch Sandman before The Last of Us. So let's not hold our breath though. And I might be lying. I might watch The Last of Us before Sandman. I don't know, Sean. I don't know. I don't know. I will be watching more TV though. That has to be a thing. Ted Lasso though, back to that. Nate is having a hard time really adjusting to his new position as the West Ham manager, and it is it's telling that this character has not changed. We saw at the end of season 2, his appearance is different, his demeanor is drastically different than the Nate that we knew and fell in love with. But I am in love with what we're getting so far. Nate is aspiring to be this different version, his new version of himself that felt like he had been misused and underutilized with AFC Richmond. But now he is trying to get the upper hand on Ted from a distance. But Ted Lasso, as Sean points out in the chat, be curious, not judgmental. Ted Lasso is a character. He's probably one of my favorite characters on TV ever. This character is tortured. This character is so sad and depressed, as we saw through a lot of season 2. But at the end of the day, he gives a shit about his people more than he does himself. But he's on this journey of self-discovery and figuring out what his next step will be, and if AFC Richmond is the home that he is lacking. We meet Ted in the beginning of the season saying goodbye to his son after his son spent a couple months with him in England. Okay, great. But we see Ted. He's the opening shot of the show. Absolutely tortured. And he feels like he is just going through it again. This character that we saw have panic attacks throughout the entirety of season 2. We're seeing more of the same. And I don't know if folks read it right between the lines like I did. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I heard like, when they had the shot of Ted's face, like, calling for Lasso. We're waiting for Lasso. The last seat on the plane, waiting for Lasso. I'm thinking over here, is Ted leaving? Is this maybe a flash forward of sorts? No, a little bit of a fake out from Ted Lasso. It's his son. And I love Ted's relationship with his son. It's super sweet. super real to me, and a lot of it's been through a distance. And shout out to the kid actor. I don't know his name, but I love a lot of the interactions he has with Ted. He has no resentment towards his dad leaving and doing this job. He actually fell in love with the club that his dad's managing. Again, rad. Watching them or having the Lego set at Ted's apartment, love that. And I hope we see that more over the course of the shows of the season, potentially the last season. Sean in the chat, what's going on, Sean? When the Infinity Gauntlet showed up, man, I felt so bad. We all had the same thought that it was mom's boyfriend. I immediately jumped to stepdad, but yeah, and Ted already having the self-realization of like, do I want to keep doing this, or do I want to go back to Kansas, be with my son, and go back to the life that he had instead of missing things by being the manager of AFC Richmond. I am very eager. If this is the last season of Ted Lasso, if they go out on 3 seasons, which I will not be mad at, I love a show that knows when to end. Schitt's Creek, A Good Place, first 2 to come to mind. They knew when to end. They didn't just keep going for the sake of keeping going, if that makes any sense. That's even the verbiage for it. But Ted Lasso it's made an impression on me and many others in its short run. And we're 1 episode deep into what is potentially a farewell season, and I'm already thinking like, damn, like it's eerie over here for all the folks at AFC Richmond. Rebecca is jonesing for her club to do better, the club that she owns. They just got promoted. They don't want to get relegated again. She's worried about the placement and the mentality of these guys. And I love the idea of, instead of Rupert being like, oh, she's his bitter ex-wife. No, she never has been. She's a rival to him directly. Love that. Like Rebecca's such a good character too, and Hannah Waddingham is so good in this show. I mean, she's won many awards for it, and they're all warranted. But that and the shit with Nate and Ted, and I am curious on the relationship between Keely and Roy. They split after we saw the end of season 2. Roy just like went away. We haven't really got any details on all that, and we will, because the show is incredibly well written and they're not just going to leave us hanging. But they split up. They broke up, Keely and Roy. But then Phoebe, shout out to Phoebe, another really wholesome kid actor in this show. Phoebe's like, Uncle Roy, why did you break up? Why did you guys break up? Did you have to? Are you happy about it? And he's like, I don't know. Frankly, I don't know. I'm a big Keely Roy fan, and it breaks my heart to see them split up like this. But now Keely's crushing it with her little company, and Roy still being a part of AFC Richmond. It's sweet and it's cool. But my main takeaway from this episode was from Ted, as a lot of my takeaways are from this show. Ted is really keen on not retaliating and being bitter and spiteful towards Nate, because he doesn't feel anything negative towards Nate. Nate saw a better opportunity, so he took it, and Ted is nothing but supportive of that, even though Nate, he eviscerated him before he left. Nate will forever be a diamond dog, forever. And in Ted's brain, in Ted's mind, why be bitter, And Rebecca asked him after, Ted takes the team into the sewer and shows them like, yo, there's a lot of shit out there. I'm paraphrasing. There's a lot of shit, but that like we can help one another. Funnel out the bad stuff from the outside. We're all about what's inside and what we can do for one another. Again, another Lasso-ism that I very much enjoy. Like this show it's shit that we've heard of 1,000 times. But how this show writes it makes it sound like I've heard it, for the first time. It's great. But Ted doing that and them getting caught coming out the sewer and the team looking like shit, pun intended, on social media. Rebecca getting upset and telling Ted, are you going to retaliate and say something after Nate at a press conference said some shit about you? And he's like, you know what? I'll say something. And he showed nothing but support for Nate and what he's doing at West Ham. And then he's like, in the most Ted Lasso way possible, starts dunking on himself, talking about the panic attacks that he's gotten shit for before, talking about how he's an American, managing a football club overseas. He starts targeting himself, making fun of himself, taking the high road, telling Nate, that's the best you could do? That's Ted's way of retaliating, by dunking on himself and making himself the butt of the jokes. I am in love with this show, and it's only one episode. I don't want to get my hopes up too crazy, but if this truly is the end of Ted Lasso, I wonder if we'll revisit what they kind of sort of teased in the beginning of the episode. Are we going to see Ted go back to Kansas? Who knows? Because I was fully anticipating, until they showed his son, or they said his son's name over the PA at the airport, that Ted was the one leaving England and going back to Kansas City. I'm eager. We'll see. And I don't know how many episodes we're going to get. Maybe something around 13. I don't know for sure. But this episode proves that Ted Lasso has not missed a step as a program. This is a perfect show so far. So far, so good on Ted Lasso. The acting is good. The writing is great. Like, Apple TV, they really knocked this one out of the park. And if this truly is the last season, they're gonna miss it. I just named 2 shows, Schitt's Creek and The Good Place. 2 of my favorite shows ever, because they knew when to stop. They knew exactly when to stop. 2 shows that didn't have to, but they chose to, and they wrapped up in this nice little bow, and they're perfect. The finales of both those shows are some of the most tear-jerking episodes I've ever seen of any TV show. And Ted Lasso has made me sweat from my eyes multiple times. And so far, I feel something coming. Something's on its way. Sean in chat. Ted said, here, tell these people something they don't know about me. Like, it's something that I want to know what Nate's arc is going to be this year. Do we redeem Nate? That's been the hot question between the end of season 2 and the beginning of season 3. Will this show somehow, some way redeem Nate? And I thought it was impossible. And frankly, I didn't want it. I thought, Nate was such a bitter bitch the entire second season, and he was given some reasons to act the way he did and to say the shit that he said, but not in my mind. No. Fuck Nate. Frankly. Nick Muhammad's a great actor, and he's acting the shit out of this part. But as a character, fuck Nate. Nate sucks. I hate him. What an asshole. And I'm over here now, after watching the episode 1, they're going to redeem him, aren't they? How they do it, when they do it, that's the question in my eyes. I think this show, Ted Lasso as a character, would not let Ted Lasso, the show, not redeem that character. Yeah. We see the internal conflict of Nate so far. He's still holding on to those humble beginnings that he had, but has to adjust to this big platform, to his top 4 club in the Premier League. Rupert is going to try to manipulate and do all this bullshit to Nate, but I have a good feeling that Nate's going to see through that shit. Will it be in the first half of the season? Probably not. I'm willing to guarantee it won't be. Will it be towards the end of the season? Yes. I'm starting to think so. Does AFC Richmond win the Premier League? That's another good question. Are they that good of a club? We haven't seen them play a match yet. I believe if I read the description of episode 2 correctly, we're going to see them play their first game. And I wonder if we'll see them do well in the Premier League. Because I feel like the season won't end with them getting relegated. but you also don't want them to see them just end up in the middle of the pack. I'm curious. And I'm going to be curious, not judgmental. I'll wait and see. But so far, A+ for Ted Lasso. We're planting the seeds. We're planting the seeds. A great episode to begin. We didn't need anything too crazy. It's shit we already knew, frankly. But it reminded us of what's going down. Told us where these characters are at. Let's see some more. Ted Lasso. Incredible show. If you sat through all that and haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it. Highly. As someone who's not a big soccer guy, I've been calling it football for the last 20 minutes. Just saying. I respect this shit. Shout out to AFC Richmond. I'm going to have to get one of them jerseys. I saw that Nike put them up. But with all that being said, thank you. Thank you all so much for those who came through in the live chat or watched this after the fact. I really appreciate the love. Make sure you go ahead and hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, comment if you're watching after. Let us know. We should do more things like this where one of us just pops on screen and chats. Yeah, this is relatively new for me on Flick and Reel. I haven't done one of these yet where I just get on and talk. I've had a little bit of a raspy voice last few days, and I already feel it now. Probably, I think subconsciously it's why I'm wrapping up, because I could keep going. But thank you all so much. Again, really appreciate the love. And if you aren't subscribed already, please subscribe to Flick and Reel. I'm really happy to be here. They gave me a platform, and I'm going to hear it. If they didn't like the fact that I did 80 minutes on the channel on a Wednesday night, maybe I do this every so often for funsies. But Superman, TMNT, Little Mermaid, Mandalorian, Ted Lasso. Hell of a show, ain't it? Real ones up. See you guys next time. Have a good one, y'all. Peace. Bye.